Kai and I stand together at the top of the step of City Hall, holding hands and blinking at the brightness of the end of summer days in Cadmus. No one notices us. They have other things to think about on their way up the stairs. Some look uncertain, others excited. An older woman stops at the top of the steps and glances at me. "When do we write our names?" she asks. "Once you get inside to vote," I tell her. The woman nods and disappears into the building. I look at Kai and smile. We have just finished putting our names onto paper, making our choice about who will lead. When people chose society, it was almost the end of us, I say. It might be the end of us again forever this time. It might be, Kai agrees. Or we might make a different choice. There are 3 candidates offering to lead the people. The pilot represents the rising. The official represents the society. And Anna represents everyone else. She and Eli came back to Cadmus with us. "What about Hunter?" Kai asked. Anna said, and she said, "I know where he's gone." And she smiles, sadness and hope mixed together in her expression, a feeling I know all too well. This voting is such a large and impossible task, such a beautiful and terrible experiment. It could all go wrong in so many ways. Think of all those little white papers inside, all those people who have learned to write their least their names. What will they choose? What will become of us? Our lands, the blue skies and red rocks and green grasses. But I remind myself the society can't take it all again, unless we let them. We can get our memories back, but we will have to talk to each other and trust one another. If we'd done that before, we might have found a cure sooner. Who knows why that man planted in those fields? Perhaps he knew we need the flowers for the cure. Maybe he thought they were just beautiful, like my mother did. But we do find answers in beauty more often than not. This is going to be difficult, but we came through the plague and the mutation together, all of us. Those who believed in the rising and those who believed in society and those who believed in something else entirely, all worked side by side to help the still. Some didn't, some ran, some killed, but many people tried to save. "Who did you vote for?" I whisper to Kai. As we walk down the steps, "Anna," he says. He smiles at me. "What about you?" "Anna," I say. "I hope she wins. It's time for the anomalies and aberrations to have their turn. Will we let them?" In the debate on the port, the official was clear that couldn't side and just go. "Don't you think we've seen this before?" she asked. "Everything you do has been done before. You should let society help you again. This time, of course, we will allow a greater increase of expression. Give you more choices. But left to match on your own device, what would happen?" I thought we would write something. We would sing something. "Yes," said the official, as if she knew my thoughts. As if she knew exactly what everyone else in society was thinking. Exactly. We would write the same books as other people have written. You'd write the same poems. They'd be about love. She's right. We would compose poems about love and tell stories that have been heard in the same form before. But it would be our first time feeling and telling. I remember what Anna called the 3 of us: the pilot, the poet, the physic. They are in all of us, I believe this. Every person might have a way to fly, a line of poetry to put down for others to see, a hand heal. Xander sent me a message to let me know where he is now. He wrote out by hand. It was his first time I ever saw his writing. Neat rows of letters brought tears to my eyes. "I'm in the mountains. Lee's here too. Please tell my family that I'm fine, I'm happy, and I'll be back someday." I hope that's true. My mother and Bram wait for us, the steps down to the river. "You're finished voting?" Bram says. "How was it?" "Quiet," I say, thinking back to the large hall full of people and the sounds of pencils and papers, names being written slowly and carefully. "I should be able to vote," Bram says. "You should," I agree. "But they decided on 17. Banquet age," Bram says. "Do you think I'm going to have a banquet?" "You might," I say, "but I hope not." "I have something for you," Kai says, and he holds out his hand. There is grandfather's tube, the one we found in the cavern, the one that Kai hid for me in the tree. "When did you get this?" I asked. "Yesterday," he says. "We were in the outer provinces again looking for survivors. After the mutated plague was under control, the pilot let Kai and some of the others try to find those who were still lost. like Patrick and Ada. The hope was that some of them might have found their way to the rising old camp on the map near the lake. So far, we're still looking. I brought this back too, he says. The one Eli saved. He holds up in his hand and reads the label on the tube, Robert Vick. I thought you didn't believe in the tubes, Bram says. I don't, Kai says. But I think this one should be given to someone who loved him, so they can decide what to do. Do you think she'll take it? I ask Kai. He's talking about Lee, of course. I think she'll take it, Kai says. And then let it go, because she loves Xander now. She's chosen to love again. Sometimes I felt angry that Grandfather hadn't told me exactly which poem he wanted me to find. But now I see that he did give me. He gave me a choice. That's what it always was. It's hard to do this. I say, holding Grandfather's tube. I had wished to keep the poems. That would make it easier. I'd have something of him left. Sometimes paper is only paper, my mother says. Words are just words. Ways to capture real things. Don't be afraid to remember that. I know what she means. Writings, paintings, singing. It cannot stop everything. Cannot halt death in its tracks. But perhaps it can make the pause between death and its footsteps sound and look and feel beautiful. It can make the space of waiting in the place where we can linger without as much fear. For we are all walking each other to our deaths, and that the journey there between footsteps make up our lives. Goodbye, I say to Grandfather and to my father, and I hold the tube in the river and pause for a moment. We hold the choices of our fathers and mothers in our hands. When we cling on and let them slip between our fingers, those choices become our own. Then I unstop the tube and hold it in the water, letting it take the last little bit of Grandfather away, just as he wanted and asked my father to do. I wish the two of them could see all of this, the green field planted with cures and the future blue skies and red flags on top of the city hall, signaling that it's time to choose. Like climbing the hill, Kai says, catching my eye and pointing to the flag. Yes, I say, remembering the feel of his hands on mine, as we tied the scraps to the tree marked where we'd been. Beyond the city of Cadmus and the mountains rise blue and purple and white in the distance. Kai and I climb the hill together. Xander is in the mountains. Even though Xander is gone, even though all cannot be as everyone would have wished, there is still satisfaction knowing that something good and right and true was part of you. That you had a blessing, a gift, good fortune, perfect luck to know someone like this. To pass through the fire and water and stone and sky together and emerge, all of you, strong enough to hold on, strong enough to let go. I can already feel something slipping through my fingers, like sand and water, like artifacts and foams, like everything want to hold on to and can't. But we did it. Whatever happens next, we managed to help find the cure and begin a vote. The river looks alternately blue and green as it reflects the grass in the sky. I catch a glimpse of something red swimming in it. Kai leans and kisses me, and I close my eyes to feel better. For a moment of waiting and wanting our lips to meet. There's an ebb and flow, leaving and coming, flight and fall, singing in silence, reaching and reached.